Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic TV shows of all time, The Dukes of Hazzard. From its high-octane car chases and thrilling stunts to its unforgettable characters and Southern charm, this legendary series has left a permanent mark on television history. But there's so much more to the show than meets the eye. Buckle up, start those engines, and join us as we uncover fascinating behind-the-scenes secrets, untold stories, and surprising facts about the Dukes of Hazzard. Let's get started. Did you know that the wild, action-packed world of the Dukes of Hazzard has its roots in real-life events? That's right. The premise of this iconic show can be traced back to the incredible life of Jerry Elijah Rushing, a real moonshiner from North Carolina with a story that seems tailor-made for the big screen. Rushing's moonshining adventures began at the tender age of 12. Tasked with running moonshine, he drove a customized 1958 Chrysler 300D that he affectionately named Traveler, a nod to General Robert E. Lee's famous horse. But Rushing wasn't just any moonshiner. His skills behind the wheel, coupled with the ingenuity of modifying cars to outrun law enforcement, made him a legend in his own right. His daring exploits alongside his brother Johnny and cousin Delane laid the foundation for the 1975 movie Moonrunners, which directly inspired the Dukes of Hazzard. What made Rushing's story even more fascinating were the personal touches that transitioned into the fictional universe of the Dukes. The name Traveler became the iconic General Lee in the show, a Dodge Charger known for its gravity-defying stunts and unmistakable Dixie horn. Similarly, the rebellious and charming spirit of Rushing and his family was embodied in the Duke boys, Bo and Luke. After leaving the moonshining business, Jerry Rushing didn't fade into obscurity. Instead, he reinvented himself, becoming a successful hunter and even dabbling in entertainment. He made a memorable appearance in The Dukes of Hazzard as Ace Parker, a crooked car salesman, in the episode Repo Man. This cameo was a subtle nod to the man whose real-life adventures helped birth the fictional world of Hazzard County. Beyond his life story, Rushing's legacy serves as a reminder of the show's deeper connection to Southern folklore. The moonshining roots, the rebellious spirit, and the clever use of cars to outwit authority all speak to a uniquely American tradition of turning adversity into adventure. It's this rich tapestry of real-life inspiration, combined with larger-than-life characters and thrilling stunts that gave the Dukes of Hazzard its enduring appeal. The storylines of the Dukes of Hazzard were a key factor in its widespread appeal, blending action, humor, and heartfelt moments that kept audiences coming back for more. Each episode followed a familiar yet exciting formula. Bo and Luke Duke, with the help of their cousin Daisy and Uncle Jesse, would outsmart the conniving Boss Hogg and the bumbling Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. Whether it was a high-speed chase to deliver evidence clearing their names or a comedic plot involving Boss Hogg's latest get-rich-quick scheme, the scripts were crafted to provide a mix of adrenaline-pumping stunts and light-hearted comedy. This balance allowed the show to resonate with a wide audience, from car enthusiasts drawn by the General Lee's stunts to families who appreciated the Duke's strong sense of loyalty and justice. John Schneider, who played Bo Duke, was only 18 when he auditioned for the role. The producers were looking for someone older, but Schneider was undeterred. He attended the audition pretending to be a 24-year-old Southern good old boy. Complete with a cowboy hat, a can of beer, and a wad of chewing tobacco, Schneider lied about his age and even claimed to be a stunt driver. His convincing act won him the role, though he had to learn stunt driving after landing the part. Tom Wopat, who played Luke Duke, met Schneider in a rather unusual way. The two first crossed paths in the bathroom during Wopat's audition. While there, Schneider noticed Wopat's guitar sparking a conversation about music. Their instant bond in that setting carried over to their screen test, helping Wopat secure the role. One of the show's most iconic stunts, the hood slide, wasn't planned. During filming, Wopat attempted to jump over the General Lee, but slipped, unintentionally creating what became the signature hood slide. The General Lee itself was no ordinary car. It was a heavily modified 1969 Dodge Charger, customized with special wheels and a heavy-duty suspension system to handle the show's extreme stunts. The series' signature stunts, including its iconic 180-degree turns, required significant modifications to the General Lee. Brakes were adjusted, and interior steel roll bars were installed to ensure the safety of the driver and passenger. One of the most memorable aspects of the General Lee was its ability to soar through the air and land smoothly on its rear wheels. In reality, most cars would nosedive due to their front-heavy design. To counteract this, the crew placed concrete ballast, sandbags, or weight boxes in the trunk, enabling the car to land rear first during jumps. The General Lee wasn't just a car, it was a carefully engineered marvel built to perform extraordinary stunts. Each Dodge Charger was extensively modified to handle the physical demands of the show. The suspension system was reinforced with heavy-duty springs and shocks, and steel plates were added under the chassis to protect the car during the rough landings. Even the interior was reconfigured, with roll cages and harnesses installed to ensure driver safety. One lesser-known fact is that the General Lee's signature orange color, affectionately called Hazzard Orange, was chosen because it stood out on camera and symbolized the vibrant energy of the show. The team even had a dedicated workshop on set to repair or rebuild cars for the next shoot, keeping the iconic vehicle in prime condition. Another defining feature of the General Lee was its horn, which famously played the tune of Dixie. Interestingly, the horn's inclusion was entirely accidental. During the filming of the early episode High Octane, the crew heard a passing car play the tune. John Schneider, who played Bo Duke, was so captivated by it that they chased down the driver and purchased the horn for $300. From that moment on, the Dixie horn became inseparably linked to the General Lee's legacy. It is reported that one day during filming, John Schneider, Bo Duke, and Tom Wopat, Luke Duke, decided to pull a prank on the production team. Known for their playful nature, the duo snuck into the garage, where the General Lee was being repaired, and replaced the famous Dixie horn with a ridiculous sound effect, a comically exaggerated moo from a cow. The next day, during a high-stakes chase scene, Schneider hit the horn, expecting the usual rousing tune. Instead, the sound of a cow echoed across the set, leaving the crew in cast in stitches. Director Paul Baxley, however, wasn't amused. He stormed onto the set, demanding to know what had happened. Schneider and Wopat tried to keep straight faces, blaming a malfunction in the horn system, but their guilty grins gave them away. Despite the chaos, the director later admitted it was one of the funniest moments on set. The prank became legendary among the cast and crew, and the moo horn even made a brief cameo as an inside joke in one episode. The General Lee also became legendary for its gravity-defying jumps, many of which were record-breaking. However, pinpointing exactly which records were broken has been a challenge. Some sources claim that the jump from the first episode, where the car soared 16 feet into the air and flew 82 feet over Roscoe, set a world record. Others argue that the river jump from the season 1 finale, Double Sting, broke the record for the longest jump on television. Regardless of which records were achieved, there's no doubt that the General Lee's stunts left an indelible mark on TV history, cementing its status as an unparalleled icon of daring automotive feats. The destruction of approximately 300 Dodge Chargers during the making of the Dukes of Hazzard became one of the most talked about aspects of the series' production. On screen, the General Lee was a symbol of invincibility, a car that could jump rivers, crash through fences, and still drive away as if nothing had happened. Behind the scenes, however, the story was very different. Each stunt inflicted significant damage on the Chargers, leaving many beyond repair or only useful as parts for future vehicles. The sheer number of cars wrecked in the pursuit of entertainment left a trail of battered Dodge Chargers across filming locations. As the series progressed, the constant need to replace destroyed Chargers created an unexpected problem: a nationwide shortage of 1969 Dodge Chargers. This iconic car, already a classic by the time the Dukes of Hazzard aired, became even harder to find as the production team scoured the country for replacements. Crew members would leave handwritten notes on the windshields of parked Chargers, asking their owners if they'd be willing to sell their vehicles for the show. Imagine walking to your car and finding a note offering to make your Dodge Charger a TV star. It must have been both exciting and surreal. This desperate search became part of the show's lore, showcasing the lengths to which the production team would go to keep the General Lee on the road. Fans who owned a Dodge Charger during this time often joked that their cars were living on borrowed time, as any moment might bring a note from the Dukes crew. By the later seasons, the scarcity of Chargers and the rising costs of production forced Warner Brothers to explore alternatives. They decided to use miniature remote-controlled models of the General Lee for some of the more dramatic stunts. While this solution might have seemed practical on paper, it quickly became a point of contention. Viewers immediately noticed the shift in quality. The miniatures lacked the weight and realism of the full-size stunts, making the action sequences feel less authentic. Fans expressed their disappointment loudly and clearly. Letters poured in criticizing the unrealistic visuals, and even cast members voiced their dissatisfaction. For a show built on thrilling, larger-than-life stunts, this compromise felt like a betrayal to its core identity. The negative reaction was so widespread that many consider the miniature-filled latter half of Season 6 and all of Season 7 as the weakest parts of the series. Despite these challenges, the General Lee remains one of the most beloved cars in television history. Fans at the time were willing to overlook the occasional use of miniatures because of their deep emotional connection to the vehicle and what it represented. Car clubs across America began organizing meetups dedicated to recreating the General Lee, complete with the bright orange paint, the Confederate flag on the roof, and the signature Dixie horn. Even today, car enthusiasts continue to rebuild and restore Dodge Chargers to resemble the iconic General Lee. It's not uncommon to see fans driving replicas to conventions, complete with custom horns, and the distinctive O1 emblazoned on the doors. For many, the General Lee isn't just a car. It's a symbol of freedom, fun, and defying the odds, much like the Duke boys themselves. The General Lee's stunts weren't just entertainment, they became a cultural touchstone. Viewers would eagerly tune in each week, anticipating the next jaw-dropping jump or chase sequence. Kids replicated the stunts with their toy cars, and adults marveled at the engineering and precision required to pull off such daring feats. The car's legendary status has even inspired modern movies and TV shows to pay homage, from parody sequences to direct recreations of its stunts. The destruction of hundreds of Dodge Chargers, while a logistical nightmare, also highlighted the dedication of the Dukes of Hazzard team. They were willing to go to great lengths to deliver high-octane entertainment. Though the use of miniatures may have faltered, the commitment to creating unforgettable television is what continues to endear the show to its fans. In hindsight, the challenges faced by the Dukes of Hazzard, from car shortages to creative compromises, only add to its legend. The General Lee might have been wrecked hundreds of times, but its legacy remains unshaken, racing forward as one of the most iconic vehicles in pop culture history. Fans, whether nostalgic or newly introduced to the show, continue to celebrate its indomitable spirit. Interestingly, the sounds of the General Lee's roaring engine weren't recorded from the show's chargers at all. Instead, these iconic engine sounds were borrowed from another legendary car, the 1968 model of a different make entirely. The Dodge Charger, which became the iconic General Lee in the Dukes of Hazzard, had already gained fame as the car featured in the movie Bullitt, starring Steve McQueen. In the first 5 episodes of the Dukes of Hazzard, the show aired in a later 9 p.m. time slot, allowing for more mature themes and adult-oriented content. However, when the series was moved to its permanent 8 p.m. slot to appeal to families, the tone of the show was adjusted to be more family-friendly. The General Lee wasn't just a car, it became a cultural phenomenon. The show received around 60,000 letters per month, with approximately 35,000 of those letters specifically about the car. Fans asked for its specifications, requested photographs, and even addressed letters directly to the vehicle itself. Despite the show's massive popularity, CBS chairman William Paley, known for championing critically acclaimed programming like All in the Family, openly disapproved of the Dukes of Hazzard, dismissing it as lousy. Yet even Paley couldn't ignore the show's runaway success. The Dukes of Hazzard wasn't just a television series, it was a phenomenon that captured the hearts of millions and became a defining piece of 20th century Americana. With its high-flying car stunts, infectious energy, and larger-than-life characters, the show brought the charm and rebelliousness of the rural South into living rooms across the nation. The General Lee's unmistakable Dixie horn and Daisy Duke's trend-setting shorts weren't just props or costumes, they became cultural symbols that transcended the show itself. But behind the bright orange Dodge Charger and the idyllic portrayal of Hazzard County lay a more complex story, one that sparked conversations about identity, history, and the portrayal of Southern culture. Fans were immediately drawn to the show's unapologetic embrace of fun and adventure. Each week, audiences tuned in to watch Bo and Luke Duke outsmart the bumbling Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane and Boss Hogg in a new round of high-speed chases and daring escapes. The General Lee's stunts were so impressive that car enthusiasts became instant fans, with some even attempting to replicate the jumps, albeit with much less success. Car culture magazines praised the craftsmanship and ingenuity that went into modifying the Dodge Chargers for the show's demanding stunts, further solidifying the General Lee as a car enthusiast's dream. However, the show wasn't without its critics. The Confederate flag on the roof of the General Lee, while meant to be a nod to Southern pride, became a lightning rod for controversy. While many fans saw it as a symbol of rebellion and independence, others pointed out its association with a painful chapter in American history. As the show's popularity grew, so did the debate. Media outlets discussed whether the flag's inclusion was harmless nostalgia or an insensitive oversight. Despite this, the show maintained its massive fan base, with many defending its intent as a celebration of the South's charm and humor rather than an endorsement of divisive symbols. What's fascinating is how the show influenced trends outside of television. Catherine Bach's portrayal of Daisy Duke redefined casual women's fashion, with her trademark cut-off shorts inspiring a style that's still known as Daisy Dukes today. Fashion magazines featured pieces on how to recreate her iconic look, and the trend was embraced by fans eager to channel her confidence and charisma. Meanwhile, the Dukes of Hazzard soundtrack, with its country music roots, also resonated with audiences, leading to a surge in popularity for artists featured on the show. The media played a huge role in keeping the show in the public eye. Tabloids eagerly reported on behind-the-scenes antics, like the infamous contract disputes that saw Tom Wopat and John Schneider temporarily leave the series. These moments only added to the show's mystique, with fans rallying behind their favorite actors and demanding their return. When Wopat and Schneider eventually came back, it felt like a victory not just for the actors, but for the viewers who had invested so deeply in the characters. The Dukes of Hazzard even spawned a wave of merchandise that included toys, posters, lunchboxes, and model cars. The General Lee was a bestseller among toy cars, with children recreating the show's famous stunts in their living rooms and backyards. Warner Brothers reported receiving tens of thousands of fan letters each month, many of which were directed to the General Lee itself. This level of engagement was unprecedented and demonstrated just how deeply the show had embedded itself into the cultural zeitgeist. Even years after its original run, the legacy of the Dukes of Hazzard remains undeniable. Fan conventions continue to attract attendees dressed as their favorite characters, and the General Lee remains a star attraction at car shows around the world. The controversy surrounding the Confederate flag has led to some changes, such as Warner Brothers ceasing the production of merchandise featuring the symbol, but the show's fans argue that its heart lies in its themes of family, loyalty, and fun. Ultimately, the Dukes of Hazzard reminds us of a time when television could bring people together with its mix of action, humor, and heart. For better or worse, the show's impact on pop culture, fashion, and media is a testament to its enduring appeal. During casting, Dennis Quaid was initially considered for the role of Luke Duke. However, he insisted that his then-wife, P.J. Soles, also be cast as Daisy Duke. Producers rejected this condition, and Quaid dropped out, paving the way for Tom Wopat to be cast as Luke and Catherine Bach to take on the iconic role of Daisy. Bach's portrayal of Daisy Duke was so memorable that her trademark shorts inspired the term Daisy Dukes, which remains synonymous with the style to this day. The network expressed concerns that Daisy Duke's iconic shorts were too revealing. To address this, they required her to wear sheer pantyhose underneath to prevent any wardrobe malfunctions. In 1982, Tom Wopat and John Schneider walked off the show before the filming of the 5th season, demanding their share of the show's immense merchandising revenue, which reportedly exceeded $190 million in 1981 alone. They were temporarily replaced by Byron Cherry and Christopher Mayer, who played cousins Coy and Vance Duke. However, the new characters failed to resonate with fans, and ratings plummeted. Cherry and Mayer appeared in 19 episodes, including one featuring Wopat and Schneider when the original stars returned after resolving their contract disputes. In 2015, Warner Brothers made the controversial decision to stop licensing the Dukes of Hazzard merchandise featuring the Confederate flag, which prominently adorned the roof of the General Lee. This move came amid escalating national debates over the flag's symbolism, particularly its associations with racism and slavery. For many fans, the decision struck a chord of nostalgia and sadness, as the General Lee had long been celebrated as a cultural icon rather than a political statement. The announcement sparked a whirlwind of reactions across social media and traditional outlets. Longtime fans of the show expressed mixed emotions, with some supporting the decision as a necessary step in addressing systemic issues, while others argued that the flag's presence on the show was never intended to offend or divide. Many pointed out that the Dukes of Hazzard was primarily a light-hearted portrayal of adventure, family values, and Southern culture, not a platform for political discourse. Online forums and comment sections were flooded with opinions. Some fans wrote heartfelt posts reminiscing about their childhood memories of the show, defending its creators and arguing that the flag, in the context of the Dukes of Hazzard, symbolized rebellion, not hate. Others called for a deeper examination of how such symbols can perpetuate harmful legacies, even in innocent settings. John Schneider, who portrayed Bo Duke, became one of the most vocal advocates for keeping the General Lee as it was originally conceived. In interviews and social media posts, Schneider expressed his frustration with Warner Brothers' decision, emphasizing the flag's context within the show. He stated, "Labeling everyone who has the flag a racist seems unfair to those who clearly never meant any harm," adding that the show was about family, fun, and fighting for justice, not divisive politics. Schneider's remarks were widely shared, sparking further debate. Supporters praised him for defending the show's legacy, while critics argued that his comments downplayed the deeper issues associated with the flag. His statements led to a wave of media coverage, with headlines questioning whether the Dukes of Hazzard could still be appreciated in modern times. The controversy became a focal point for broader conversations about the intersection of pop culture and historical symbolism. News outlets revisited the show's legacy, with many publishing think pieces about its portrayal of Southern identity. Some argued that, while the show's intentions might have been innocent, its use of the Confederate flag warranted reconsideration in light of its broader cultural implications. Television networks also weighed in. In response to the controversy, several channels, including TV Land, pulled reruns of the Dukes of Hazzard from their schedules. This decision outraged fans, who saw it as an overreaction and an erasure of a beloved piece of television history. On the other hand, advocates for the change applauded the networks for acknowledging the need to move forward from outdated symbols. Despite the controversy, the General Lee remains one of the most iconic vehicles in pop culture. For many fans, it represents the spirit of adventure and freedom, qualities that transcend the symbol on its roof. In car shows and fan conventions, replicas of the General Lee continue to draw crowds, with owners often opting to display the car without the flag to maintain its broader appeal. The debate over the Confederate flag on the General Lee has also prompted some fans to engage in meaningful discussions about the show's historical context and its portrayal of Southern culture. While some argue for preserving the car in its original form as a piece of television history, others see it as an opportunity to reimagine the General Lee as a symbol that unites rather than divides. The 2015 decision by Warner Brothers to stop licensing Confederate flag merchandise marked a pivotal moment in the legacy of the Dukes of Hazzard. It brought to light the complexities of balancing nostalgia with cultural responsibility and sparked conversations that extended far beyond the realm of television. While opinions remain divided, one thing is clear: the Dukes of Hazzard continues to hold a unique place in American pop culture, where its symbols and stories evoke both fond memories and important debates. This ongoing discussion underscores the enduring impact of the Dukes of Hazzard and its characters, reminding us that even in controversy, art and entertainment can serve as powerful catalysts for reflection and dialogue. In 1983, the Dukes of Hazzard took a creative detour with an animated adaptation titled The Dukes, produced by the legendary Hanna-Barbera. Known for their work on iconic cartoons like the Flintstones and Scooby-Doo, Hanna-Barbera sought to capture the charm of Hazzard County in a new family-friendly format that could appeal to younger audiences. But instead of sticking to the rural escapades that made the original series a hit, the animated show took a bold twist, sending the Duke boys on races around the globe. In the animated series, Bo, Luke, and Daisy Duke, along with Uncle Jesse, traded dirt roads for exotic locations, entering high-stakes races in the General Lee against Boss Hogg and Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane. These international escapades allowed the show to incorporate colorful backdrops and adventurous storylines, from jungle treks to icy tundras. While the idea of taking the Dukes out of Hazzard County might have sounded like an exciting shakeup, it also meant sacrificing the small-town charm and southern flair that fans loved. When the Dukes first premiered, Byron Cherry and Christopher Mayer, who had temporarily replaced John Schneider and Tom Wopat as Coy and Vance Duke in the live-action series, provided the voices for the first season. However, this casting choice mirrored the same issues that plagued the live-action show during their tenure. Fans simply couldn't connect with Coy and Vance, and the show struggled to capture the spirit of the original Dukes. For the second season, producers brought back Schneider and Wopat to voice Bo and Luke Duke, hoping their return would revive interest. While longtime fans were thrilled to have the original Duke boys back, the move came too late to save the series. By that point, the ratings had already dipped, and the Dukes ended after only 20 episodes. The animated series faced several challenges. First, the decision to stray from the heart of Hazzard County alienated some fans who tuned in expecting the same down-home feel of the original show. The focus on global adventures, while creative, lacked the familiarity and nostalgia that made the Dukes of Hazzard a hit. Additionally, the animation style, though characteristic of Hanna-Barbera, didn't quite capture the gritty, action-packed energy of the live-action series. Another hurdle was timing. By 1983, the original series was entering its later seasons, and while still popular, it wasn't the cultural juggernaut it had been during its peak years. This meant the animated spin-off struggled to attract a dedicated audience, as even the most loyal fans were beginning to lose interest. Despite its short run, The Dukes remains a fascinating chapter in the franchise's history. For younger fans who grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons, it offered a gateway into the world of Hazzard County. The animated series also gave audiences a chance to see the General Lee in action in ways that would have been impossible in live action, like jumping over pyramids or racing through underwater tunnels. In hindsight, The Dukes serves as a testament to the cultural impact of the Dukes of Hazzard. Few shows inspire animated adaptations, and the fact that the series was chosen for this treatment underscores its status as a pop culture phenomenon. When The Dukes was revisited by fans years later, it sparked a mix of nostalgia and critique. Some fans appreciated the series for its quirky charm and Hanna-Barbera's signature style, while others viewed it as a misstep that strayed too far from the essence of the original show. Online forums and fan sites often debate whether The Dukes deserves more recognition or if it's best left as a footnote in the franchise's history. Meanwhile, media retrospectives have highlighted the series as an example of how studios often tried to extend the life of popular franchises in the 1980s, with varying degrees of success. The animated series may not have reached the heights of the original, but it remains a unique experiment that showcased the versatility of the Dukes of Hazzard brand. While the Dukes didn't achieve the enduring legacy of its live-action counterpart, it still holds a special place in the hearts of fans who grew up watching its globe-trotting adventures. It's a reminder of the bold creativity that studios were willing to explore, even if the execution didn't always hit the mark. For fans of the Dukes of Hazzard, the animated series is a nostalgic curiosity that adds another layer to the rich tapestry of the show's history. And there you have it, an exclusive look into the fast-paced, action-packed world of the Dukes of Hazzard. Whether it's the legendary General Lee, the larger-than-life characters, or the off-screen drama, this show truly has a legacy that's hard to match. If you love this deep dive, don't forget to smash that like button, share your favorite moments in the comments, and hit subscribe so you won't miss more exciting videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next adventure.